Hi, I'm Rachel, and I'm here to do the 25 Random Questions tag. It's a tag that I found on Steve Donahue's channel, which I assume will be not much of a surprise to most of you on BookTube, but it looked kind of fun, and so I thought, why not do it? So I have all the questions here on my phone. Question number one is, do you have any pets? I had a pet. I had a cat, Leia. She was in some of my earlier videos. She died in early October last year, and I've been middling ever since, really, about when to get a new cat. Just had a few concerns, some of them more valid than others, about why I haven't gone ahead and done it already. But I really, at the moment, I'm really thinking that it's time to move on here, you know, and have a companion again, and to put myself out there as a caregiver. And I've been looking at the local Humane Society's website at the cats available for adoption, and at the moment I'm thinking I'm going to put it off a little longer. I have this week-long vacation coming up in a little over a month, and it just seemed like I'd want to have more time with a new cat before I leave for that amount of time. I might be being too precious, but there we have it. But when I get back in late July, early August, I think it's time to put the pedal to the metal here. Question 2 is, name 3 things that are physically close to you. So I thought I'd answer this question bookishly to at least have 1 or 2 bookish answers in this tag. This is my stack of books that I use as a camera tripod. This is the laptop where I will later be uploading and editing and posting this video. And this is my first NaNoWriMo poster. And this is my second. I got it last Nano. Question 3 is, what's the weather like right now? So here we are on the morning of Sunday, June 10th, 2018. It is an overcast day in the DC, Maryland area. I am in Maryland, and I am overlooking DC at the moment. Somewhere in the distance, behind all that fog and very small in the distance, you can see the Capitol building and the Washington Monument, although one of them might be blocked by this new building right here. We have a lot of construction going on in my neighborhood, as you can see, but this is the view from my balcony, so I thought and this is my neighbor building, of course. It took away a lot of my view, but I thought I'd let you see. Question 4 is, do you drive? Have you ever crashed? Nice to see those two together. I don't drive. When I was a teenager, I think a little bit older than the normal age, I took the classes with my sister, who's a little bit younger than me. I did do driver's ed classes, and I took the tests, and I did some driving behind the wheel as a student driver, but the whole thing just made me on edge. I was way too stressed out behind the wheel of a car, and so I decided it just wasn't for me. And you know, that was 20 years ago now, and now I live in a big city area, so that it still doesn't have to be for me. You know, it can put a little bit of a damper on things every now and then, but one of the nice things about most cities is that you can still get around through public transportation. And as for crashing, I did crash once. It was pre any sort of driver's license thing going on. It was when I was a early teenager, and we were doing some sort of race car thing, track at the beach one year, I was bad, and I treated mine like a bumper car, and at the end of the race I like smashed it into the car in front of me, and you know, startled the boy who was driving the car, and his mother understandably was very furious with me, and luckily I don't think I caused any real damage other than, you know, the shock of it all, but obviously I don't know, I don't think cars are for me. Question 5 is, what time did you wake up this morning? About 7:30 or 8:30. On weekends I tend to still wake up, I guess, around the time that I wake up on the weekdays, which is usually around 7 to 7:30. Sometimes I stay in bed and I'm lazy for a while longer, but I thought I'd try to get up and get at 'em today. Got stuff to do. Question 6 is, when is the last time that you showered? And shortly before sitting down to make this video, my hair's still a little wet. Question 7 is, what is the last movie you saw? And I guess technically I went down yesterday and I watched A Cure for Wellness on HBO because it was there and I thought it looked kind of interesting, kind of spooky. It was an okay kind of middling film. The last movie that I saw in theaters was for the Jewish Film Festival that was going on last month, and I spent a Saturday at the AFI Silver, the sister to the one in Los Angeles, I believe, and they had these two films. One was a documentary on Jews in Bollywood, and the other was this film called Shri from the 1950s, and the antagonist of the film was played by this actress Nadira, who was a Jewish Bollywood actress, and it was really, it was fun. It was, I love all of the pomp and ceremony and melodrama, and it was interesting to look at Bollywood from the 50s. I don't watch a lot of Bollywood, but what I have watched is usually from more modern day. And anyway, I did reviews of both of those films or of that event on one of my blogs, so I'll link that down below. Question 8 is, what does your last text message say? So let me check that out. The last one that I have is not actually to me. It's on my family group chat. My sister said, I don't know about that, but thanks. And she's being humble because my parents are saying that she's a good mother. Question number 9 is, what's your ringtone? I haven't seen anybody else actually do this, but why not give it a try? It's called Peaceful Strum. It was the one I liked the most on the options. But I don't actually get a lot of calls myself. So. Question 10 is, have you ever been to another country? And yes, just a couple, but yes I have. Question 11 is, do you like sushi? And nah, that doesn't make my list of picky food items that I like. Question 12 is, where do you buy your groceries? And usually I buy them at Safeway, which is basically right behind us. Well, the window's a little that way, but it's in there somewhere. And it's just one of the closer stores to me. The other one is Whole Foods, and that's a little more pricey. And so I just take my little shopping bag and walk myself on over there every week. Question 13 is, have you ever taken medicine to help you fall asleep faster? And yes, I have. I can be a little bit, I've had trouble falling asleep in the past, and most recently it's due to my cold, and that I'm mostly over, just sniffling a little. And I took some NyQuil at one point last week to help me get to sleep, and it made me feel a lot better when I woke up. Question 14 is, how many siblings do you have? And I have one sibling, one sister. Question 15 is, desktop or laptop? And I'm definitely in the laptop camp. Back when I got my first computer, like in the end of high school and beginning of college, I preferred the desktop because it had more firepower to it. I don't think that's the right word. But now laptops are a lot stronger and can do a lot more. And I particularly like my little netbook that I use for writing purposes, and I take it to Panera and to other places to do writing on the go when I don't want to be cooped up in my condo. Question 16 is, how old will you be turning on your next birthday? I will be turning 35 in a little over a month. Question 17 is, do you wear contacts? And I'll let my face be the answer to that. I do not. I don't think I can handle putting pieces of plastic in my eyes, so I'm quite happy with my glasses. Question 18 is, do you color your hair? And no, I don't really color my hair. No, I don't color my hair. I'm just remembering this field trip, overnight field trip I went on like in middle school where for some reason a couple of the girls and me decided to crush some berries into our hair. Like for hair dye. I don't know what we were thinking. Question 19 is, tell me something you're planning to do today. Well, one thing I'm planning to do for another bookish answer is to finally finish this book. I've been reading it for a while. This is Moses Montefiore, Jewish Liberator, Imperial Hero. It's a biography by Abigail Green. I have about 100 pages, a little under 100 pages left in this, finally. Question 20 is, when is the last time you cried? And I'm a bit of a crier. I can get a little verklempt, as it was in Yiddish, at about anything. I mean, nothing serious, obviously, but just any emotional moment on a TV show or something, and I can tear up a little bit. So I think maybe the last time I actually cried was maybe during, I was watching part of an episode of Intervention, which is about people struggling with addiction, so it can get pretty sad. Obviously that's not a serious personal cry, but I can't actually remember the last time I cried for more serious reasons, so I'll just go with that. Question 21 is, what is your perfect pizza topping? I love onions. I love them. They're just delicious. My sister hates onions, so I always joke that I must have taken that gene out of the gene pool. Just snatched it all up. I love them. I have them probably a fair bit of my diet every day, most days in the week. Question 22 is, which do you prefer, cheeseburgers or hamburgers? And I'm not a beef eater, so neither. Question 23 is, have you ever had an all-nighter? And yes, I have. I mean, I remember in college, it's staying up most of the night, and staying up as the sun came up sometimes. I think usually I was able to grab maybe an hour or two of sleep sometimes, but I think I have gone pretty far into the 24-hour non-sleeping thing, I guess. And I also remember my last semester of grad school 2.0, I call it, for my library science degree. I had like 4 papers due within 4 days, and so I remember sort of sitting on my bed in a flurry surrounded by my laptop and a bunch of papers, and my cat would be sitting on the papers that I needed. And mostly I was in a stupor. Question 24 is, what is your eye color? And mine is hazel. And finally, question 25 is, can you taste the difference between Coke and Pepsi? And yes, I can. I am Team Pepsi all the way. So that about covers it for me now. I think more booktubers are doing Steve's original rando questions tag rather than this one that I think he found somewhere or other. But the questions on his original tag seemed like they were made for someone who does a lot of fighting, world traveling, and Cormac McCarthy hating. So I thought these questions and answers were more applicable to my life, so I went ahead for this one. In the meantime, I guess I'll get moving on the rest of my Sunday. I hope you have a good day as well. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.